Hello everyone. What would have happened if dinosaurs had survived? Would some of us have had dinosaurs as pets, like in the Flintstones? Or the other way around, would giant dinosaurs devour us, like in the dinosaur park? Folks, welcome to our channel. Let's take a break and think together. But first, leave your like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos that are amazing. Why dinosaurs went extinct? Dinosaurs dominated the Earth for most of the Mesozoic era, that is, from the beginning of the Triassic period to the end of the Cretaceous period. In other words, for about 160 million years, the mighty steppes, the dinosaurs, trembled on the ground. Dinosaurs belonged to a huge phylogenetic species. They were really rich in variety. Some were carnivores and some were herbivores, some large and some small, some bipedal and some quadrupedal. Various estimates say that there were about 1,500 to 2,500 species of dinosaurs. We see their distant descendants almost every day. All you have to do is go to the city parks and throw breadcrumbs. That's right, it's the pigeons. Actually, all birds. They have not only survived, but are quite comfortable in today's conditions. However, all non-bird dinosaurs have gone extinct. Why did this happen if they were extinguished in moments? Or did they gradually die out? It is still being debated among researchers. However, there is little disagreement that the main factor in the extinction was a meteor. An incandescent mass measuring 10 to 15 kilometers in diameter crashed into the Yucatán peninsula, resulting in a cataclysm. The energy of the impact was comparable to that of 1 billion atomic bombs. Terrible earthquakes shook the earth, triggering unprecedented tsunamis of 100 meters. Several tons of ash and soot rose into the air, covering the sun and making the day as dark as night. In a nutshell, it was the end of the world. All the ecosystems of that time were destroyed and almost half of all living things went extinct. The dinosaurs went too. The traces of the great changes of that time remain to this day. In the Chicxulub crater, there is a 180 kilometers diameter wound left where the meteor hit. Much time has passed, the world has recovered from the damage caused by the meteor, and the Earth has also begun its regeneration. Once again, those who then received the baton were the mammals. They survived the natural cataclysm and developed quietly after the scary carnivorous dinosaurs disappeared. And then, finally, the mammals came to the top. Now they are the rulers among the land animals, and among them are those who are very smart who mess with smartphones and watch YouTube. If the meteorite had fallen a few minutes earlier, or if you had caught sight of its impact, perhaps the disaster would not have been so devastating. In that case, what would have happened to the dinosaurs? They would have become intelligent? What about us? Would humanity have been born into this world at all? If the meteor had not fallen, dinosaurs would still be destined for extinction. Several researchers claim that even without the global cataclysm, dinosaurs would have died out, only at a slower rate. During the last 40 million years that dinosaurs existed, their population would continue to decrease. But what if the dinosaurs had had the chance to develop further? What kind of evolution would they have? Dinosaurs would have smaller bodies and the vegetation of the Earth would also change. The food of herbivorous dinosaurs would have to change dramatically. Giants would eat ferns and gymnosperms, but they are far less nutritious to satisfy their appetite. At the end of the Cretaceous, angiosperms appeared, which are much more nutritious. In other words, sooner or later, the dinosaurs would have to switch to a diet of roses and violets. Then the sauropods would no longer need gigantic bodies and would become smaller. Maybe they would even eat fruit. It is very possible that small feathered dinosaurs would follow the same evolution as primates, gaining the ability to climb trees for juicy oranges. That's worth it. Also, dinosaurs would be forced to face multiple ice ages. That means it is quite possible that dinosaurs with thick skin, covered in feathers or fur, would emerge. It would be wonderful to be able to bring a fluffy one home. Another very important question remains: whether dinosaurs could become intelligent. If there is one dinosaur that could be given the title of most intelligent, it would be the troodont. This clever carnivorous dinosaur had a long skull that was large enough to hold a brain similar to that of modern primates. Obviously, this little guy has much higher intelligence than most other dinosaurs. Troodonts hunted in packs and coordinated their actions as a group, increasing their chances of catching large prey. They had very good eyesight and were so fast that they would handily win a top score in the 100-meter run. Also, many researchers are convinced that troodons were able to pick up rocks with their 3 fingers to use as tools. What if carnivorous dinosaurs like him were already successful back then? Just imagine how they would have evolved in the period between the meteor impact and today. It would take 200,000 years for them to have an intelligence on the same level as the first Homo sapiens. Trojans would eventually look like tall humanoid aliens. They would have green, scale-covered skin and large, oblong pupil eyes. Isn't that a splendid lizard man at that time? They would already be flying artificial satellites to Jupiter and building a career in IT. But wait a minute, what about more humans? Would humans not have even existed? Large mammals were only able to emerge? Why did the dinosaurs give way to them? Only the small rodents with nocturnal habits that hid from the scary carnivorous dinosaurs during the day survived during the golden age of dinosaurs. In short, humans or dinosaurs, only one of them could survive on this planet. If mankind lived shoulder to shoulder with dinosaurs. But let's imagine now, what it would be like if we lived side by side with dinosaurs. First of all, living with tyrannosaurs would not be pleasant at all. The big carnivorous dinosaurs would consider us walking stakes, but they are so dumb. They would not remember, for example, that we can use fire to counterattack. So the only shield that could protect us, at least a little, from these monsters would be a hard, strong wall. On the other hand, large dinosaurs like the Diplodocus would have been ideal food for our ancestors. Defeating just one would have been a feast for a whole month for the whole family. After all, they even managed to capture mammoths. Unfortunately, if you tried to tame the sauropods to use them, it certainly wouldn't work. They are too slow and too dumb. I'm sorry, Fred Flintstone, but your excavator doesn't convince anyone. But maybe it would be possible to breed them on a farm, like we do with ostriches today. Then they could have been Diplodocus and not cattle eating grass on our farms. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you think about it, the fate of dinosaurs is certainly not very enviable. Humans have succeeded in eradicating giant creatures. If some dinosaur species had survived, they would certainly be protected without ecological reserves. And the little dinosaurs might have been fighting raccoons while they were going through the garbage cans of our houses. However, we have no way of knowing, because a huge meteor swept the dinosaurs from this world, and then we were able to emerge and become what we are today. There is no way of knowing whether it was good or bad, but restoring dinosaurs from the DNA of blood taken from mosquitoes trapped in amber is a bit reckless. Look how Dinosaur Park ended. And for now, we say goodbye until next time. We have 2 more amazing videos for you, they are appearing on the screen now. Until the next video. Bye.